Hello, my name is Veles. Welcome to the Infernal Thunder, and today we are going to talk about ego and ego death. In my opinion, ego death is a term that is really damaging to New Age spirituality and occultism, spirituality as a whole, because people start overlooking mundane world when it comes to magic. Mundane world and your magical. Yes, they are pretty separated, but they interact in the same way that we are awakening trauma and reliving it in order to see patterns and see your behavior and learn from it. That's where ego comes in. In this world, in this new age term of enlightenment and death of ego, it tends to be that you should not have ego at all, and in some cases that you should be submissive to others' will, which means no ego. Ego is non-existent. Non-existent. Ego is dead. Which is false because we are going through these lessons and we are learning, we are seeing the patterns and overlooking, mentoring ego to see its respond to certain behaviors of others or certain events. In same way, telling others that they have to refine their ego, that they have to uh, overlook or their ego. To some extent, I do believe that it is trait of ego because you are putting yourself above the other and telling them instead of in some way what should they do. I am in this video to some extent doing the same, but I'm just giving my opinion. I would like to hear others' thoughts on this. In this term, when ego is non existent, the individual tends to be robotic in one way, and this is something I've experienced. Individual tends to be robotic in a way that it always bends to wills of others and lets others um, be mean and treat them badly in respond to its ego, and I cannot do this because it's ego. The right move here is to overlook what ego what your ego likes, what its traits are. Different ego, different patterns. In some cases, same, but everybody is different, especially on left hand path where we all are individual. In this sense, I do believe that right trick is just sitting and overlooking your behavior, and after behavior is overlooked, if it is hurting, to change it, and if it is something that isn't, because to some extent certain emotions come from ego, good emotions and bad emotions. Yes, some can be true divine spark, but vast majority of it is ego, which I do believe to some extent is liking someone or being friends with someone because ego recognizes something in them, but it can also be your true self, which is again not hurting. And again, we have to have ego in this world in order to survive. Again, because we have to have our own one self, and it cannot be done without ego. That's why I do believe that deities to some extent have ego, because they have authority. Authority can be healthy, of course. In that way, ego is replaced with healthy ego. Death of ego in one way is that it is death of old ego, which is replaced with the healthy ego. But I also believe that this, to maybe some lesser extent, can be done in regular world mundane while doing magic and working with different deities. But I do believe that only way to reveal it, to go into detail, is to work with the Qliphoth and learn art projection and do the initiations through Sephra and through the Qliphoth, of course, if you want to. But interacting with the different deities, they will mostly point out your mistakes. This is more going into your shadow self than your ego, but I do believe that they are connected in a sense that events from the past lives get stuck with the ego, and it is still in a one way holding on to these events. Ego can get interacted in a lot of different aspects when certain events in your life start to be repetitive, and it is a trait of ego called in modern age karmic relationship, in this sense that ego still holds onto those events from past lives, or that feeling that it does feel important to be connected to someone through some kind of higher power. And again, I'm talking about Lafcan Path and about occult, about spiritualism in this sense. That is it for today's video. I hope it did help. Till the next